Welcome in, Logan Webb. Welcome in, Lamont Wade Jr. Honored to have my guest on today, Kyle Harrison. Let's bring a friend of mine in, Pat Burrow. Pat, how are you today?
Bill, I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on with you.
Giants fans, this is Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants, KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Ramos has been on base twice, and he hits a soft bouncer past the mound. Off the third base side, Jackson. He barehands it and throws it away at first. It goes right on by Berger and down the right field line. And now Ramos around second, heading for third. The throw, it goes wild. It goes over to the sidewall. He jumps up. He heads home. And the game is over. It's a Little League home run. He hit it no further than 60 feet from home plate, and then the Rangers did the rest.
Welcome into an extra inning postgame show. My mouth is still wide open. I've never, ever seen a game end like that, and it was just so much fun watching Elliot Ramos round the bases and the Texas Rangers have thrown it away. I don't think Matt Williams even expected it when he got to third base. And once it got past the third baseman, it was all over as Elliot Ramos does a belly flop, a head first slide. Willie Adames was running right down third base with his hands up. Go, go, go. And sure enough, the Giants end up winning a wild one at Oracle 3-2. The first place National League West San Francisco Giants are 19-10, finally getting over the 17-game stretch where they went 10-7. Just great numbers right there for the orange and black. And you can say everything about the excitement at the end of the game, but pitching sure came through in this three-game series. The starting pitching was just pure gold. 18 innings they pitched, 17 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 16 strikeouts. 27 innings in these 3 games. The Giants staff walked 2 guys and struck out 30. 30 strikeouts and only 2 walks, and that was by starting pitching. The bullpen, let's count this up, 9 innings pitched, 8 hits, no walks, 14 strikeouts. You talk about pitching, San Francisco Giants fans, that was pure gold the last 3 games when you look at what Jordan Hicks did, Robbie Ray did, Justin Verlander, 3 pitchers that needed a good game, and all 3 of them came through as Jordan Hicks started this game off. A couple chinkers and a couple base hits. He gave up 2 runs in that first inning, and he was dynamite the rest of the way as he goes 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, threw 84 pitches, 60 strikes. Then Hayden Birdsong comes in, and you talk about a kid that's 23 years old getting out of a jam. The first hitter he sees, Jock Peterson, hits a triple out to right center field, and Mike Yastrzemski almost had it, hit his glove. He was upset. He ended up throwing his glove in the air. He thought he should have had it, but Hayden Birdsong settled in and got the next 3 guys out, striking out Garcia. Simeon hit a ground ball to Wade at first, and then a little pop-up by Jung, and he was out of it. No runs into 6th. He comes back in the 7th inning, punches out Heim, gets Harris on a pop-up, gives up a double to Taveras, and gets out of it with a ground ball to Smith. This is Hayden Birdsong coming out of the bullpen, 23 years old. He goes into the 8th, punches out the first 2. Garcia takes an 0-2 base hit, gets out of it by punching out Simeon on a 3-2 slider. He goes 3 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 5 punch-outs. Camilo Duvall, what can we say about this kid? He has come alive for the San Francisco Giants. He threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball by Ahmed to strike him out, the first hitter. Then he goes up against Heim, punches Heim out, and gets a little ground ball on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and he gets out of it. He goes 1 inning, 2 punch-outs, 9 strikes out of 10 pitches. When you talk about Camilo Duvall, 8 straight scoreless appearances, 8 straight, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 hit, 7 2/3 innings in those 8 straight scoreless appearances. He gets the win. He's 2-1. But what can you say about this pitching staff this weekend? Each one of them did their part, going all the way back to Justin Verlander, Randy Rodriguez, Ryan Walker on Friday's game. Saturday, Robbie Rago, 7. Tyler Rogers, Ryan Walker comes in. He gets the win. And then today, Hicks, Birdsong, and Duvall. What fabulous pitching that the San Francisco Giants did to take 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. They have now won 6 series. Two series they've lost. 1 they have tied. That was a four-game series in Philadelphia when they split 2-2. They're 17-3 against right-handed pitchers, 2-7 against lefties. And as I said earlier, a 17-game stretch. And tomorrow they get their first day off, and they were 10-7. Fabulous, fabulous pitching, fabulous game today, and it sure ended up with Elliot Ramos with one of the greatest plays we have ever seen at Oracle Park, where the Texas Rangers threw 2 balls away, and he scores on a dribbler to third base. What a dramatic, fascinating, exciting finish. And I love what John Miller did, just the excitement that he brought in, and we had to start the show like that. 415-808 KNBR. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this 19-10 San Francisco Giants team. Got a great show lined up as we get through this show. JP Martinez, the pitching coach, will join me, and Carson Wizenhunt, the number 2 prospect for the San Francisco Giants. I got to catch him up in El Paso, Texas. So great show lined up. Let's get the phones ringing. Let's talk about this team as they finally get a day off tomorrow. They'll be flying to San Diego later today, and they take on the San Diego Padres Tuesday and Wednesday before they come right back here at Oracle Park and play the Colorado Rockies on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next weekend. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up next on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Here it comes. He lines one into left center field. That's a base hit. And that'll tie the game. Nice job, Christian Koss, who gets his first big league run batted in. It's 2-2. That's just a good at bat. You get ahead in the count 2-0. You get a fastball right down the middle and put a good swing on it.
All right, back on the Extra Inning Postgame show on a Sunday. Giants with a thriller, win it in the bottom of the ninth, 3-2. 3 runs, 5 hits. That's all they had. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Texas Rangers, 2 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. And the last 2 errors made the Giants win this game. You know, Dave Fleming was talking about Christian Koss. What a good game he had today, and he also had one yesterday, getting that 2-0 fastball to drive in that run to tie the game to 2-2 after Ramos got a base hit, stole second base, the 20th stolen bases for the Giants so far this year. Lamont Wade Jr., boy, I tell you what, I'm shaking my head. This guy was scalding the ball today, and he walks out of there 0 for 3. It's just a tough day for him. And some of the foul balls that he was hitting were rockets. Hey, he'll come through, no question about it. He is swinging the bat very good. How about Patrick Bailey? He hit that ball with his new torpedo bat all the way out to left center field. He thought it was gone. I think everybody did, and the wind kept it in. 2 guys that are really battling with their batting averages where they are, but they're coming back, Giants fans, and they're hitting the ball very well. Christian Koss 1 for 3 today with an RBI. Yesterday he had a nice leadoff single in the 5th to get that rally going, and then he had that nice bunt in the 9th inning. And, of course, he's playing for Tyler Fitzgerald. He got hurt Friday's game going into that fence, so we'll see how he is going to do on this road trip. Giants get tomorrow off, 17 games. I would really like to know, fans, could you play 17 games in a row? Could you work 17 games in a row? The Giants just did that, and they finished 10-7. 10 wins, 7 losses, going through New York, Philadelphia, Anaheim, and then coming up here and playing a 7-game homestand in which they went 5-2. Good baseball, really good, solid baseball for Bob Melvin, Buster Posey, and this whole Giants organization turning around a good team now, and everybody's got faith. The confidence is pouring out of that locker room. All right, we got a full board on the telephone, so let's get to these calls. Let's go to Sean in San Rafael. Sean, just a wild finish for this game. I bet you your mouth's still wide open.
Bill, that was absolutely insane. Nothing like I've ever seen.
Did you go to the game or did you watch it?
I was watching it at home. I went to the game on Friday.
Okay.
So that was great, but I think the only thing that I've ever seen that's close to that was Angel Pagan's walk-off inside the park homer many years back, but not even – I mean, the overthrows, 2 of them, truly was a Little League homer.
Well, I'm sure we've seen a lot of them in Little League, even in high school, but everybody called it a Little League home run because of the overthrows. And just what you said, Luke Jackson trying to throw it like a Matt Chapman, he throws it down the line, and Berger had no chance to even get to the ball, picking the ball up and then throwing it. I loved Ramos's expression when he got to third and saw the ball go by him. He was huffing and puffing, and sure enough, he goes head first slide at home, and the place, the clubhouse, the whole dugout, everybody was running on the field. Just an exciting homestand for the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys are playing good baseball. Hunter Pence used to say, when you squeeze an orange, you're going to get juice out of it, no matter if it's a good day or a bad day. And he said, when you come to Oracle Park, you're going to get love and compassion. I think when you come out to Oracle Park now, you're going to get love, compassion, and good baseball, and exciting and players and that are exciting to watch.
They sure are, and they're doing it 1 through 9. There isn't one guy they're leaning on today. Of course, Christian Koss gets his first RBI as a big leaguer in the first inning. Flores gets a walk to get one run in after a couple other walks in front of him. He's got 28 RBIs, leading Major League Baseball. You look at Matt Chapman. He gets a walk in the first inning. 26 walks he has right now in 29 games. So a lot of things are happening. They're getting good at bats, and you got to look at the other side, Sean. The pitching for this weekend was dynamic, especially out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the pitching has been amazing. They say defense wins championships, but I mean, keeping runners off the bases, especially free ones, you can't defend a walk.
Well, they really cut him down. When you look at 3 games, 27 innings, 2 walks, 30 strikeouts, that is really good pitching. I got JP Martinez on later in the show. We talk a lot of different things that he has done to make this pitching staff work harder, and it's really, really a solid pitching staff, especially this bullpen. But, Sean, thanks for the call. Have a great rest of the day. Let's go to San Francisco and talk to Mike. Mike, you're on an exciting extra inning post-game show as that final play really made it exciting.
Bill, the final play. Let me say something to you real quick. Last call we had, you said you were a sinker slider guy. I saw 2 sliders in my life, and I walked away from the game of baseball afterwards. So thank you for throwing those. And hey, in the last play of the game, my father's sitting there. And he's like, he hit the ball 2 feet in front of the plate. But Dwayne Kuiper stole the show for all of us today, calling that Little League home run before it happened. And I don't know how Ramos got from second to third in the meantime. But how are you today?
I'm good. It was really a good game. I thought Jordan Hicks really threw the ball better today than he has. Hayden Birdsong coming out of the bullpen, I praised him in my open, going 3 solid innings. And he had so many situations with a triple leading off, he got out of it. A double with 2 outs, got out of it. Really, you're thinking about this, Mike. This kid's 23 years old, never, ever pitched out of the bullpen, and his numbers are lights out. He has no fear at all. His expression is solid, and he throws any pitch at any time. He threw a slider, changeup, fastball, and curveball today. He really relied on the slider and the changeup. That changeup was filthy, and he goes out and punches out 5 in 3 innings. That's the guy I love to see pitch more.
Yeah, Hayden, I think the Giants could right by him. Young man, he's very young, and all the talent in the world. The
other point, too, Mike, you and I talked about Ryan Walker and Camilo Duvall. I mean, I remember you and I chatting about Camilo Duvall, where he was going to fit in this bullpen. This was a while ago, maybe even in spring training, because we didn't know if he was going to be a setup man or a closer. And the little couple hiccups that Ryan Walker had this past week, boy, Camilo Duvall has just shut him down with the numbers. And today, got up to 100 miles an hour on that fastball he struck out Nick Ahmed on. Still, he was dialed in. He's coming in with more flavor. He's coming in with everything he's got, and he's throwing strikes. 9 strikes in 10 pitches. That's what the Giants want to see in him.
No, it's Camilo Duvall, like you're right. What he did today, striking out Ahmed, that right there, like, a year ago, Nick Ahmed comes up, hits a homer once he leaves to another team. and we're sitting there today, and Camilo comes and strikes him out. But what I see in the bullpen is those guys all working together, Rogers included, and Walker and Duvall, and
well, like I threw the numbers out there, Mike. I threw the numbers out in these 3 games, 9 innings, 8 hits, no walks, 14 strikeouts. And that's coming in and shutting the door and giving your offense an opportunity to win. Of course, they win 2 out of 3, and it was a good 3-game series.
Best bullpen in Major League history, I think, Bill.
No question. Well, Mike, thanks for the call. Got a full board. Let's go to San Bruno and talk to Big Sam. Sam, you all excited about this finish?
Oh my goodness! You know what? I just got. I did a nice hike, and I said, you know what? I'm a little hungry. Let me get something from one of the great show sponsors. So right across from there is the great Lenardi's.
There you go. Quite simply the best, Sam. And this game was just like it when they finished it, and everybody was jumping on Elliot Ramos at home plate. The place was crazy. Everybody was standing up, and just the slide and the expression of Ramos hitting home plate, you couldn't get better.
Always a delight. Always a delight to speak with you, Bill. And I'll be at the yard next weekend. Look. In my most humble opinion, and you know me now, and you know I do not go below the belt.
Mm-hmm.
I am confident, I am very confident that this team knew who was coming in the in senior leadership, and it was Buster Posey and it was Randy Wynn. So they know they are playing for excellence. They know that there's high expectations. This team, I can tell you, has changed overnight. I know the season is very early, but I can tell they're more patient at the plate. They're having fun. They love each other. This is a very young group that can win 85 to 88 games.
Well, you know, the other stat, Sam, listen to this one. 10 times from being behind 2 runs or more, 10 times they have overcome it and won games or took the lead. That tells you, just like what you said, the resilience. I really believe this team believes in each other. You look at these batting averages, they're going to change, no question. Nobody's really fretting over it. But at the same time, look what they're doing. They're grinding. They're grinding at bats. I patted Lamont Wade Jr. on the back in the show, and he has just been grinding the most of anybody, and he's in there every game, and he's trying his hardest. Today, I just felt bad for him. He was hitting the cover off the ball and got nothing out of it but an 0 for 3.
By and large. And you know what? I'm a big fan of teams that have heart and compassion. And nonetheless, this team will give it to you to the final out. And lastly, what I want to see, and maybe what I want to ask, because you pitched in a big league career, is there a point where Logan Webb's frustration level is through Mount Rushmore and it says, guys, I got to get some run support? Because he should be at 17, 18, 19 wins every single year, but he's pitching a beauty every time he's pitching, and they're not.
Big Sam, he doesn't care. I'll tell you right now. He is a team leader. He doesn't care about wins and losses. He wants to go out there every day and compete to make this team have the opportunity to win. And I guarantee he would say the same words I just said. Logan Webb is a contender. He's going to go out there and fight the best he can. His numbers are showing it right now. He's got under a 2-point earned run average. He doesn't care about wins and losses. He wants this team to stay in the top of the NL West.
And lastly, I really believe Bob Melvin could drive this team. And I know we're headed into May, but if you would have asked me that this team is close to 20 wins only a month in, I would say you are on a different planet. But they are doing it. Hey, Bill, that's my time. It's always a great a pleasure, especially on the weekends, to listen to great programs that you put on. And I will hope to see you in the park really soon.
All right, Sam, thanks for the call. Enjoy Lenardi's. I know you will. Let's go out to Sacramento and talk to McLean. McLean, you're on an extra inning post-game show with Bill Laskey. An exciting time at Oracle Park, but even better, going through a 7-game homestand, finishing up 5-2. That's what I like about this homestand.
Yeah, I just had something to say. I would like to say something and then hear your opinion.
Sure.
I'm very excited, obviously, about the start, but I just wanted to have one point of criticism, and I think that the person I'm about to kind of criticize I actually really like as a player. But I just feel that this team could use an upgrade defensively at first base. And I
defensively?
Like made, but
defensively,
well, let me give you defensively. Let me give you a reason. I think, and I'm going to give you more. 1 meaning less of a reason and 4 being more. 1, Lamont Wade, he does kind of lack size at first. 2, he's average at best, I think, at picking. 3, he doesn't have – I don't think he has great instinct. So, for example, there is – earlier in this homestand, there is like a bunt, and his first instinct was to go in. he goes, oh, shoot, and he tries to go find first base. He makes an error. Then there was another play where he goes in, he crashes hard, he wants to throw home, he second-guessed himself, throws to first, and makes an overthrow. And the fourth reason I would say I think they need an upgrade is the
okay, McLean, I'm listening. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I understand your point. And let me ask you this. As a left-handed first baseman, how many times has he picked the ball? How many times has he stretched and picked the play? How many times has he gone down the line and caught the ball and tagged the runner? You're talking about maybe 3, 4, 5 things. Let's talk about the 20 to 25 things he has done good. And the other thing is how he retrieves the ball if they're picking him off. I love how he steps forward and makes that throw to second base. He has gotten better in my eyes as a defensive first baseman.
He has been working on it over the last 4 years. But there are times where, when their third baseman or shortstop makes a play going to their glove side and they have to throw one hopper to first, where he hasn't made that play. And I mean, in professional, and I think, a guy who had a better, one thing we talked about Brandon Belt, I did not like his approaches at the plate. But one thing he could do was really bail out his infielders. And with the Giants pitching,
Good
who
point.
like to pitch
I'm
contact,
right there with you with Brandon Belt. You also had JT Snow there. You also had Will Clark there. You've had some fantastic first basemen. Go back to Stretch McCovey. They are good. But again, this is what the Giants have at first base. There's nobody else that's going to play first. They tried Casey Schmidt. Wilmer Flores is your DH until Encarnacion comes back. But overall, what you're seeing with Lamont Wade Jr., I think he's above average, and I don't think he's average or less. I really don't. I think his instincts got better. He's gotten better flipping the ball to the pitcher moving to first. I really believe he's gotten better over the years. The first couple of years, I would say I'll question him with you. But this year, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you, McLean, I think he has gotten better. All right, let's go to Sacramento and talk to Scarecrow. Scarecrow, you're on the Extra Inning post-game show. How are you today?
Just like they drew it up on the chalkboard, right, Bill?
That's right. Boy, I just don't understand where Luke Jackson was trying to be like Matt Chapman. You know what? That ball wasn't even close.
Let's put it to you this way. Of all of the good things that happened and the good pitching and all of that, this game is going to be remembered for a fire drill that occurred at the bottom of the ninth.
I like that one. I'll have to remember that one, Scarecrow, a fire drill, because it definitely was. When he got to third base, I think everybody was wondering if he was going to go because the ball was already past him, and Luke Jackson was backing up the play. What's he going to do, throw another one at home? Wasn't even close.
Well, to be real honest with you, after the last call, I remember that little scene in Moneyball where Washington were trying to Scott Setterberg or whatever it is, and she's saying, "Oh, he can go play first base." And going, first base is easy, and Washington's going, "No, it's very difficult."
Scarecrow, and you know what? I might agree with him a couple years ago, but I think you're going to agree with me. He has gotten better playing first base over the last couple of years. I really do. His range is getting there. I love how he gets to the ball and feeds the pitchers. That was a big problem of his. And overall, when he comes in, when they pick him off, I love it. And I just said it, how he steps in and throws to second base. Sure, there's times where he has to throw to second behind the runner, but you know what? That's the best first baseman the Giants have right now.
Well, let's put it this way. Remember, he started out as an outfielder.
Correct.
And then they moved him to first base, which was kind of the point I was trying to make. He's done a remarkable job because first base isn't easy. Ask Casey Schmidt, who was a hell of an athlete, and is right now on the DL because first base was so easy.
It's amazing what this bullpen did for this homestand. Really did. 9 innings, 8 hits, no walks, 14 punch-outs. Hayden Birdsong doesn't care if he's starting or relieving. He comes in these fresh innings, and it looks like it's the first inning. His demeanor on the mound is so quiet, and he's just like a snake when he gets the ball in his hand. He's going to bite your head off.
Well, I am really getting to seriously enjoy this version of Buster Ball. And doggone it, it's been a long time since the Giants have been entertaining. I mean, you have Chung-Hoo Lee in the outfield that I will actually stop what I'm doing just to see what he's going to do at the plate.
Yeah.
I mean,
how about the throw to second base today that he made? when Jordan Himes in the fourth inning tried to stretch a base hit into a double, and he's like, "What are you thinking about? You're a catcher." Boom! He threw him out, and he wasn't even close.
Oh no, they're fun. They're fun to go see, and doggone it, the fans have earned the right to have something that's entertaining. You know, the Dodgers, and I hate to say this, kind of showed everybody what it takes to win a World Series. It's 5 things. You got to throw the ball, pitch the ball, catch the ball, run the bases, hit the ball. You do that the better than anybody else, there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up there with a world championship.
Well, now we play, now Scarecrow, now they play the NL West. This is going to be fun. They got 2 games in San Diego. Boy, that's going to be a good pitching match down there for 2 games. Then they come back and play Colorado. And here's a chance that you could expand this and get, 20 to 25 wins if they play well in the next, 6 games. You never know what they're going to do before they hit the road again. But this has been an exciting 17 games. Would you have thought they would have gone 10-7 with 17 straight?
When I looked at the schedule, I thought they're either A, going to be lucky to be 500, or B, they're going to get buried. Because nobody really knew what was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hope. And
well, they had a good start, no question about that. They go 3-1 in April. They start off nicely, and now they're 16-9 for the month of May. How about April? I should say April. I'm sorry, April 16-9, and they were 3-1 in March. So you know what? This is a fun, exciting team. We're seeing a lot of good pitching. We just need to get a little more offense from the boys.
I will happily wait on that. That's perfectly fine. You go out on a road trip, includes 3 games in New York and 4 in Philadelphia, where we left our catchers at the emergency room over there last year, and you come out with a winning road trip. Hey, I'm perfectly happy with everything that's going on so far.
Well, Scarecrow, they get a day off tomorrow. I think everybody will breathe and then go back into a nice game. Logan Webb on the hill Tuesday, and then Landon Roop an afternoon game Wednesday, and we'll continue to have some exciting times. But thanks for the call, Scarecrow. It's always great catching up with you. Let's go out to San Lorenzo and talk to Mark. Mark, did you go to the game today, or did you get to watch it?
Bill, I'm going to be honest with you. I did get to go to a game, but that was Friday's game that I went to. And, hey, it's my first game of the year. I still got a few more to go. The whole family went out there. We had a great time. We even did the wave, Bill. You might not like that, but the wave went around the stadium.
I saw it. I saw it on highlights. I wasn't really excited about watching that.
I know, but you weren't there, Bill. You got to be there, right? You got to do something for excitement because my boys couldn't score a run. They couldn't even get 1 run.
The rally hats didn't work on Friday. The rally hats worked yesterday and today, so the Giants end up winning on a wild play in the bottom of the 9th inning on 1 pitch that Elliot Ramos saw from Luke Jackson.
Absolutely, one of the most exciting plays in baseball, and I'm happy they got that in there. Friday's game, I got to see the team. The pitching, like you said, is outstanding. Verlander had a good start. He went up against a tough right-hander for them, Nathan Eovaldi.
Yes.
Who I remember from another team, and I can't remember who it was, but he was
Boston Red Sox. He was with the Red Sox before. Then he went over to Texas, and you remember him 2 years ago when the Rangers won the World Series. He was 5-0 in the playoffs with like a 2.1 earned run average. But you know what? After the first couple innings, he went to the split finger. That was just nasty. They couldn't come even close to him. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 7 punch-outs.
That's where the guys were swinging and missing. I'm sitting up in the club level on the third baseline, and I could see that ball dip right at the last second. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, that's what that split finger does. And, of course, back in the day with Roger Craig and my buddy Scott Gereltz had one of the best. And you could go back in all the time with Mike Scott. I mean, some of them, if you can come right over the top with that split finger, it falls at the last second like it's falling off a table. But you know what, Mark, was fun a series. I thought Texas came in here. They lost 2-3 in Sacramento to the Athletics. Bruce Bochy coming in here, the love that we saw Bruce Bochy yesterday with the celebration of Brandon Crawford. It was just a good 3-game series, and the Giants end up winning 2 out of 3.
Hey, Bill, it's painful to watch poor Bruce walk from the dugout to the mound, man. The guy needs hip surgery. I'm looking at him.
I don't know if I want to be in the same plane. You know what, Mark? I was saying this to my producer, Kyle. I don't know if I'd want to be in the same airplane with him after this game.
I love Bruce. I want to give him a bottle of wine. I stood up and started calling his name out because we all love Bruce. I mean, we got nothing against Bruce.
Exactly.
But it was a great series. I'm glad they took 2 out of 3. You know this. I've been talking to you since spring training, Bill. I love this team. I love the way they're put together.
They're fighting.
The pitching is always the anchor, right? The anchor is the pitching, and I got no complaints. Everybody that comes in there is doing the job.
Well, Mark, Giants fans will take a day off. They'll breathe. Call me tomorrow. I'm doing Sports Phone KNBR at 7 o'clock. We'll talk more Giants baseball. But thanks again for enjoy the rest of your day on Sunday. I appreciate your time, Mark.
All right. Take care.
All right, Giants win a thriller today, 3-2 on a wild, crazy Elliot Ramos base hit that turns into 2 errors by the Rangers, and he scores from home from a little dribbler out from the home plate. But what a fun time. 808 KNBR got a lot of calls still on hold. We'll get to them, but we got to take a quick break here in the Extra Inning Post-Game Show and get the sponsors in here and find out a little bit more from Giants fans as they enjoy a great game and a great series. My name's Bill Laskey. We'll have more coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
From the mound to the mic, this is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him by saying to your smart speaker, play KNBR.
Taps this one to third. And he throws it down the right field line. Ravis is on the move. And he is going to stop. No, now he's going to go to third. Here's the throw. It gets by him. Here comes Ravis. This game is over. The Giants win the game on a Little League home run. Tell me you've seen that one before.
All right, back on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. We start the show with John Miller's call, and we definitely had to get a Dwayne Kuiper call in there. And what an exciting time for Giants fans at Oracle Park, as well as all of us watching the game at home. And it was just a crazy, crazy play. Nobody thought he was going to score on that wild throw, but sure enough, the Texas Rangers made 2 throwing errors, and Elliot Ramos crosses home plate. The Giants are 16-9 in the month of April. All 5 of their day home games, think about this, all 5 of their day home games in April, they've walked it off. That's right, 5 walk-offs in 5-day home games in the month of April. Exciting baseball, no question about it. They have a day off tomorrow after 17 straight. The San Diego Padres, as they go to San Diego and they play the Padres, some really good pitching is going to go on there. Logan Webb's going to be on the hill Tuesday against Nick Pivetta. He's been one of their best starters. He's 4-1 with a 1.2 earned run average. Logan Webb 3-1 with a 1.9 earned run average. The Wednesday afternoon game 1:10 start, Mike King, the right-hander, he's 3-1 with a 2.18. And he's going up against Landon Roop with 2-1 with a 4.5. Some good pitching in that 2-game series before the Giants come right back here for a long weekend against Colorado Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Next weekend will be another thriller back at Oracle Park. All right, let's go to Dan. He's in Denver. Dan, you're on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. A lot of excitement going on this weekend. How did you enjoy watching it?
Hey, Bill. How are you doing?
Doing great after that game. I think my mouth's still wide open every time I heard Kipe's call and John Miller's call. It has just been exciting to listen to these two. They're 2 of the best play-by-play commentators and announcers, and it just worked out so well.
So all I want to say is I had to watch the crap burger when the Dodgers won the World Series. And I went through the off season and I thought, you know what, all the Giants have to do is get a wild card. That's it. Because they were going to win, they were going to win the division. And on paper, there was it was no way. But yet, I'm watching the Cubs, and if you look in center field where the flags are, the Giants are in first place.
That's right. They sure are. National League West first place. And they got a game and a half lead on the Padres going in there for 2 games.
Yes, they do. So, I mean, you could go down to San Diego, and if you stumble and maybe split the series, you're still in first place. But what all I wanted to say is I didn't see this coming. I just wanted them to win a wild card. And you know what? You get credit Bob Melvin in spring training for teaching these guys fundamentals of sacrificing and taking the extra base. And
Dan, I think what Bob Melvin did with Buster Posey, they opened the doors and let the coaches coach. And I think that's what they did. Pat Burrell, Damon Minor, 2 hitting coaches that have been in the organization. Damon Minor, what a great pickup. He's watched these guys in AAA for over 5 years. So the communication, the connection he has with them. Then you look at JP Martinez, and you just Garvin Alston in the bullpen. Garvin's been there for a couple of years. JP Martinez was an assistant coach, and now he's that head pitching coach. A great interview coming up today for you to listen to. These guys are out there giving their best and learning players and learning pitchers and knowing where their hot spot is, knowing what they have to do to refine them. Look what the numbers I just said. In this series itself, 18 innings, 27 innings, 27 innings, 2 walks, 30 strikeouts. That, my friend, is some good pitching.
Oh, no. And you know, Bill, don't forget Matt Williams at third.
That's right.
And,
there's a bunch of them. I mean, you go right down the line with the coaches. Matt Williams, exceptional.
But how about the bullpen? And now the starting pitching's been a little iffy, but you got to admit, the bullpen, they're lights out.
Best in baseball.
And today,
no question about it. I think they're the best in baseball. The young Hayden Birdsong's just really thrilling me at 23 years old, not making the 5th starting spot. And he said, I'll do whatever you want. I'm in the big leagues. And he has just performed extremely well.
And then look down in L.A., and they got problems in pitching. And there's a bunch of people hurt. And
well, you know what, Dan? You know what? Let them figure it out. Right now, the wave that the Giants fans are on and the confidence that this Giants team is playing, one after another, next man up, Christian Koss coming in to fill in with Tyler Fitzgerald. Oh. And here this kid gets a nice base hit yesterday, bunts, nice, perfect bunt down. Today he gets a 2-0 fastball, gets the second RBI of the game, his first in his career. Just things like that. That's why when you look at a team like this with 26 players, a next man mentality, give me an opportunity. If the guy goes down, give me a shot. Because you know what? You're playing good baseball, and that's what Christian Koss has done.
Well, Bill, hey, thanks for taking my call, but I just want to say one thing. Go Giants. They're playing well, and we got something to look forward to.
I agree. Totally agree. I appreciate the call, Dan. Appreciate your time. Let's go to Looney. Looney was at the game. Talk to me, Looney. You're driving home.
It's not Looney, it's Louie.
Oh,
anyway,
Louie. Okay. Well,
that's okay. Don't worry about it. You know what's really here's what's so ironic about today. The guy you just talked to, Dan, is a good friend of mine in Denver. Huge Giants fan. Number 2, are you telling me that the broadcast from Kuiper's booth as well as John Miller's booth said the same exact thing about a Little League home run? That's insane.
Well, what could you call it? I could call it a fantasy camp.
But you know what?
I could call it a fantasy camp home run, but I don't think my fantasy campers could run from home to home. They would be dead.
I heard the John Miller. I go, that is perfect. That's the best call ever. And then I hear you play Dwayne Kuiper's call. I go, it's insane. Anyway, what a wild finish. And Dan over there in Denver, great job. He's a diehard Giant fan. Anyway, but also about Bob Melvin. You know, I have a lot of friends and people I know in San Diego, and they're saying, "Oh God, you could have Melvin. We don't want him." I go, "We'll take him any day." You kidding me? This guy can coach. You guys have no idea his track record.
He does.
You know,
they don't. And you know what?
They don't have no idea.
Yeah, the problems they had in that Padre clubhouse, it just didn't work. He stepped out, grabbed him over here, and I loved what Farhan did by snagging him, brought Matt Williams with him, brought a bunch of other coaches with him to enhance what Bob Melvin has. And Bob Melvin coming back and putting a Giants uniform on after he was a teammate of mine in the mid-'80s, that just tells you got rebirth and wear the orange and black. And this guy works his tail off. He never sleeps.
He does. And you know what? He also the analytics, forget that. I get it. To an extent, analytics will work. But you got to have a gut, too, like anybody else. You know something? Let him coach. Forget the analytic crap. You know, if you got somebody, he wants to mix and match, let him do that. Let him coach and see what happens. And look at him. They're freaking 19-10. Unbelievable.
It's been a good run, and let's just keep it going. I mean, now you go into the NL West a little bit, and you see the Padres, and the Padres have just got taken by Tampa in 3 straight games. They have a day off tomorrow, and it's going to be a good pitching match in San Diego. But when you're looking at, their record on the road, 10-6. So, going on the road isn't going to be a major distraction. And going to San Diego, that's going to be a tough 2-game series, but I'm ready for it. How about you?
Yes, sir. I tell you what, Lamont Wade Jr., keep your head up. You're going to get through. You can't wait till May. I get it. Guess what? Everything you hit's a solid rocket. Hey, I'm not worried about you, dude. And that caller earlier about meeting a new first baseman, hey, have a clue.
I agree. Thank you for the call, Louie. Appreciate it, my friend. Call more. I love talking baseball with you. Let's go out to Citrus Heights and talk to another Bill. Guillermo, how are you?
Sir, how are you? All Giants fans are in an excellent mood this afternoon, me included.
Yeah, this homestand was fun, taking 3 out of 4 from the Brewers and putting them on their way to St. Louis, where they got beat up there, 2 out of 3. Texas comes in here, and Texas is a good team. Bruce Bochy had some good pitchers throwing, but the Giants end up taking 2 out of 3 with 2 exciting ninth-inning wins.
You know, I wanted to point something out. I don't know if you got a chance to listen closely to the post-game show or not, but Mike Krukow said something when describing the final play that just proves what a treasure he is, in that you had Ramos running from first to second, and he was slowing down. He was going to stay at second base, and he used the term that third base coach Matt Williams was having a major league hernia, attempting Ramos to move to third, and of course he goes home. You know, you just don't hear descriptive word picture terms like that very often, and I don't know if your producer Kyle can clip that or not, but it's something that should be saved and probably played.
Oh,
again.
That's great too. No, I didn't get to hear that. I was setting up the show here, and it was one of the calls, and I loved what we did here with that. My producer Kyle did. You heard John Miller's call, then you heard Dwayne Kuiper's call, and you know what? Fans are either watching a game or listening to the game, but you know when you hear them both, the excitement and just the flavor of the win coming through, it was just so dramatic, and you could just play that every day and smile when you hear the victory.
Oh, you can, but this was, you know, in the post game after it was all said and done, and you've got, you know, Mike is Mike, and he can come up with some terms, and he really came up with one in the post game show, and I didn't want to pass that up to say that was really something to listen to. I loved it.
Well, it was fun. It was a fun game, a fun finish, some great pitching in this 3-game homestand against the Texas Rangers, and I kept throwing numbers out. And you know what? When you're throwing 27 innings against the Rangers and you're only walking 2 guys and punching out 30, that's some impressive pitching. And you got to tip your hat also to Sam Huff and Patrick Bailey. They never get tats on the back. And, you know, as a battery mate, I was a pitcher for many years. Those catchers, man, they go through some hard times behind home plate with a lot of foul balls, pass balls, blocking the ball. And both of these guys really call some good games this weekend.
It was a really well pitched series on both sides. The Rangers had some excellent
pitching.
Did. The Giants did too, and you know the breaks are the breaks, and you've got an ending to a game that you just don't see that often or hear.
You sure did. You sure did, Bill. And the home team comes to win the last 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Some exciting times. Thanks for the call, Bill, and I really appreciate that comment about Kruk. I'll have to see if Kyle can pull that up and throw that on there. But thanks for the time today. Appreciate your time. All right, let's go out to Berkeley and talk to Andrea. I know Andrea is going to give me a Hayden Birdsong call because I know that's her favorite player. How are you today, Andrea?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good after that game. 2 walk-offs, really, when you think about yesterday's game and this game. I mean, the players coming out of the dugout when Elliot Ramos was flat on his stomach at home plate, the smiles, the laughter, it was just a fantastic finish to a nice homestand.
Yes, it was happy new moon in Taurus and happy Giants in first place. How about that? I mean,
yeah, it's a good positive after a 17-day stretch. People just don't understand that. Andrea, I said it. How many times have you worked 17 straight days? Impossible. And these guys are producing 10 wins in 17 games. Pretty impressive.
Right, in a very physically demanding sport.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just great. I'm a big fan of Hayden Birdsong. You know, the Virgo mantra is, how can we be of service? And he just doesn't have, you know, his ego. He didn't get in the starting rotation. He's August 30th, 2001. So look at this, 3 scoreless innings of relief, 5 strikeouts, no walks, Bill. And
he got out of trouble, too. And the first hitter he saw was Jock Peterson. He hits a triple, and he left him there. And I thought that was extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And, I talked about the catchers a minute ago. Bailey was really using all his pitches when you saw what he pitched, slider, changeup, fastball. But he went to the changeup many times, and he threw 17 of those in his 50 pitches. The slider was quick. He had a good quick break on it. Looked more like a cutter, but it was a slider, and he was hitting that outside corner and then pushing it off the corner on certain pitches to right-handers.
And he hasn't allowed a run in 6 of his 7 relief outings this season. His ERA is 1.13, 18 strikeouts over 16 innings. So
that's your buddy. That's your boy there, Andrea.
Yes.
You always talk about Hayden Birdsong. That's your favorite.
Yes, my favorite Grateful Dead song, my favorite pitcher, Birdsong. It's win-win. And, it takes a village. And this was just, like you said, 2 walk-offs in a row, great team effort, great celebration for Brandon Crawford. It's like the baseball gods.
It was a nice weekend. It really was a nice weekend,
very,
and the fans
memorable.
came out. The fans came out to Oracle. It was an exciting time. The place was crazy in both these games, Saturday and today, with the walk-offs. And you know what? More exciting times coming. Let's see what they do. They finally get an off day tomorrow. I guarantee they're going to be sleeping 12 hours because we're right back at it on Tuesday. But thanks for the call, Andrea.
Yes,
have a great
you.
rest of this Sunday. Let's go to San Mateo.
Great show.
Thanks, Andrea. Let's go to San Mateo and talk to Joseph. Joseph, you're on an extra inning post-game show. Giants win in a great fashion today on a Little League home run. What'd you think of it? Are you there, Joseph? I can't hear you. Did we lose you, Kyle?
1 second.
All right, there you go.
Can you hear me?
I got you now,
Sorry about
Joseph. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for taking my call. I apologize. I'm connected to the car driving. Anywho, I got your hands free. That ridiculous. The Little League home run.
Did you go to the game today, Joseph? Were you there?
Oh, I wish I was. I'm be going real soon. I promise you that. No. Thanks again for taking my call. It's my first time on the air, and I really.
Good. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for holding on. Got a full board, but one of the things, Joseph, this team, they don't give up, and to fight back in this game after Texas scores 2 in the top, they come back with 1. They get 1 back in the 4th, and then it was a battle. It was really a battle of 2 pitching staffs that really threw the ball well the whole weekend for both teams.
Yes, sir. It definitely was, and I'll tell you what. Couple of years back, recent years, the team, it's down 2 runs that late. I might have actually turned the TV off because they just weren't that inspiring. And all I can say about this team is I am absolutely inspired by the performance. And, one of my friends, he was telling me that Hayden Birdsong kid, he's good. I'm like, he is a dog coming out of the pen. He could be a starter any day of the week, but
he could be a starter on any team. Any team in the major leagues would take him. And that's what's so great about him. And I mentioned this earlier, he doesn't get the 5th-man starting spot. He's got to go to the bullpen and learn how to pitch. He wasn't angry. He wasn't disturbed. He went down there and learned how to pitch out of the bullpen. And Bob Melvin has used him perfectly in coming in with clean innings. And today, Jordan Hicks goes 5 innings. Birdsong comes in and takes 3 innings, and he pitched awesome. And they close with Camilo Duvall throwing 100 miles an hour. That was some good pitching today.
No, it's great to see Camilo back, too. I miss my Ryan Walker. It's hurt my fantasy team a tiny bit, but, hey, I can't complain that much,
He's been on fire. The last 2 games he's pitched well, which I really am glad. Of course, he had a couple hiccups, but he's come back, and he's got that no-dot slider. He gives up 2 base hits in the 9th inning and comes back with a pop-up to the catcher, and then he punches out Smith, and he punches out Jock Peterson to get out of that top of the 9th yesterday. And you could see the momentum just go right into the Giants' dugout. And sure enough, Patrick Bailey comes up with a game-winning hit. And it was exciting yesterday, but today, that was just a fun finish. And, of course, we played John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper's call. I tell you, I'm going to listen to that more tonight, and I'm just going to chuckle about it.
Oh, you and me both. I guarantee you that. And, yes, you've been saying momentum. This team finds a way to make their own momentum. I don't even know how they manage to do it. Like I said, am inspired, thoroughly impressed. I'm not saying anything about, a deep postseason run. But the way they're playing, my goodness, I could definitely see if they keep this up all year.
Well, you got to look at a 162-game season. You only got 29 games in, but the way they're playing and the way this team is gelling, I think that's what Giant fans see. And you just said it, momentum. You win one game. If you don't, you fire back the next day. Wilmer Flores said that the other day. He was on a post game, and he said, you know what, we lose a game, and we come back the next day and forget about it. And when you're playing this many games, and you played so many in a row, 17, you have to have short memory on these losses.
Oh, most definitely. And, they've had a handful of heartbreakers this year, but the amount of come-from-behind wins that they manufacture all the time, I told my friends, it doesn't matter how you win. It's how many you do win. You don't ask how, you ask how many.
Yeah, and you know what, Joseph? The Giant fans came out this weekend, sold out every game. Of course, yesterday the great ceremony for Brandon Crawford really lightened up and highlighted that. But the walk-off yesterday and the Little League home run today, Giants fans walked out of Oracle Park both days with smiles on their face. And you know what? This has just been a good homestand going 5-2. But thanks for the call today, Joseph. I appreciate you calling in, and call in more. I love talking baseball with you. I appreciate your time. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Got phones still on hold. Stay right there. 808 KNBR if you want to call in, 415 area code. We're going to continue to take calls and continue to talk to Giants fans as they are very happy with what this Giants team's done so far. They're 19-10. I'm Bill Laskey. We'll be right back with more on KNBR, the sports leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
Yeah, I just thought that they were right, already had the ball. So I was like, okay, that's I'm a second. And then I saw everybody like, go, go, go. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got to hustle up. And then they throw it away. And I'm just in there like, I don't know. It was, I blacked out for a minute. And then I saw the guys and just waving. And I just went.
All right, back on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. That was Elliot Ramos, and that was on an NBC Bay Area. He was interviewed, and you could still hear him huffing and puffing. That's what's funny about it. And he says he blacked out coming back down third base to home plate. And if you were watching a replay, Willie Adames was like Tim Flannery with the big circle arm, go, go, go. And when he did the head-first slide, that place erupted. The dugout was all over him and tearing off his jersey like they always do. And yesterday, Patrick Bailey with a game winner, the excitement, and I loved what he said. That Gatorade was pretty cold, so they dumped that ice-cold Gatorade on him. Woohoo, that's got to be cold. All right, let's get back to the phone lines, 415-808-KNBR if you want to get on the calls. Let's go to Kitty. Kitty, you were at the game today. I know you were. Tell me about what you saw.
I was at the game and I don't have a voice left.
It was exciting. Boy, I tell you, I loved the John Miller call. Dwayne Kuiper had another good one. Those were the best, and I've said it several times on this show. I just chuckled to hear how that game ended.
Oh, my gosh. The whole series, it was exciting. Me, I love Boch and all those guys, and it was just being there. And today we sat right by the Rangers dugout so we could chat with Boch and all that fun stuff. And, and Peterson and Pilar. But, Bill, it was magical ending. It was. Like, I couldn't stop saying, woo, 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 wow, 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 wow. And I had two friends call me and say, hey, Kitty, we heard you howling.
Well, you know what,
like,
Kitty?
yeah.
I mean, if you heard this Elliot Ramos, he was still huffing and puffing 15 minutes after he slid. And just the angle that he saw the ball, he kind of slowed around second base like he should have. Because he was leading off the inning, and then all of a sudden you heard Matt Williams just screaming at him to come to third, and Berger throws it from where he was, and he didn't even come close with that throw. Smith couldn't catch it. You ended up seeing Luke Jackson backing up the play, going down the third base line, picking it up, and it was over right then and there, and the Giants walk it off again.
It was beyond Little League, though. When you're watching it live, right? I get it, because you know me. I listen to them on the radio. I watch them on the TV. I go to them live. But live today was just unfreaking believable. It was
at the game. It had to have been fun because watching it on TV. And then hearing both the calls from John and Dwayne, it's an exciting play. And these guys are calling it just like we're watching it. And just the dramatic way it ended, just the way the throws went. And you would have never thought a big league player, Luke Jackson trying to throw like Matt Chapman, wasn't even close. But then you see Jake Berger picking up, and I would have never thought he would have tried to throw him out at third base, especially with the game being tied.
No. It was, and another thing you alluded to it just a minute ago was, sorry, I'm coughing because I'm just like too excited to talk. I love the fact that Bailey got the walk-off, okay? Mm-hmm. That's something he needed spiritually. And I don't want to sound like your other caller.
No, and you know what? It is a positive, and just like today, Lamont Wade Jr. crushed the ball every time up. Bases loaded. He hit two balls hard in that first inning. And it's coming. He's really swinging the bat a lot better, and you're going to have some good things coming from both of them.
No, I know, because, you see the batting averages and you hear the comments, let's get over 100, right? It just, everything today just clicked. And, and then Hayden Birdsong, come on, baby. I just love that kid from day one. And that's it. You know me. I just want to say hi. I love you, Bill. And someone said, Kitty, why haven't you been calling? I'm like,
well,
I
wonder why, Kitty. You know the number. I'm on here on weekends. But again, pleasure talking to you, Kitty. Go home and enjoy the rest of the evening. I appreciate your time. Let's go out to Tempe, Arizona, and talk to Brian. Brian, you're on an extra inning post-game show and an exciting game at Oracle, but even better, a good homestand as they go 5-2 in 7 games.
Yeah, that was a great weekend, topped off with a great win and a weekend celebrating my favorite player. So I'm displaced. I'm down here in Arizona, so my attempts to indoctrinate my 17 and 14-year-old daughters into the orange and black were all through spring training.
Yeah,
and
good
so
spring
I have
training, too.
Oh, a couple games every year. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. But my girls never got into the game, but they got into autographs. And so I've spent a lot of time outside that clubhouse forming opinions about Giants. And I can tell you, I never saw Brandon Crawford walk away from a kid, ever once.
I agree. Totally agree. And so Logan Webb's the same way if you look at this team. Logan Webb does exactly the same. He was out there today. They showed a picture of him. There was a line up and down the row, and he stood out there and signed everything. That's what makes a big leaguer in my eyes, because I played back in the day. There wasn't a lot of autograph people in our day, but there still was. And you took the time out, especially for kids, because kids love the game of baseball, to say hi to them, to give them a high five, to take a picture with them. It means so much to them to love the game, and they're learning the game from you as a big leaguer.
And I got to say, with Craw, it seemed like he was having as much fun as they were. When my daughter was really small, she just kept handing him stuff, a card, a jersey, a hat, and he's giggling, just signing everything. Another time, he was coming out of the clubhouse, and it was pouring rain, and he came back and signed for the kids. And so I've just been so impressed with him. You never know with these guys if they're really good people, but I bet my mortgage that Brandon Crawford is as good as he seems. Thanks for taking my call,
Brian, this whole team's like that. I have not seen anybody snub people. There might be times where you got to get through it or get out the door quicker, but there's always time where they stop and take a look at Giants fans or whoever baseball fans and do the right thing. And Brandon Crawford was like that. He was a gem to fans, and that's why he was a fan favorite. You saw it yesterday. They had 30,000 in park already, and it was almost 45 minutes, not even close to the game. Dave Fleming said, I've never seen so many people here this early, and it just shows you the quality of guy that Brandon Crawford is. All right, Brian, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Let's go to San Francisco and talk to Mike. Mike, you're on an extra inning post-game show. An exciting homestand. I love to see it. They go 5-2.
Bill, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Mike. Thanks for the call. Thanks for holding on. I appreciate all the callers holding on. Had a lot of calls coming in today as I'm trying to get to all of them, but a pleasure talking to you, Mike.
I will be quick, and forgive me. My mother would be PO'd. I meant to call you Mr. Laskey, but in any event, who would have thought? I mean, we both knew that Wilmer would lead all of baseball with RBIs, right?
Sure, we did, right? 28 RBIs. How about that?
I
saw the line today, and there's Aaron Judge. There's all these different guys right under it. Here's Wilmer Flores. He had 27 on the board. He got another one today on a walk, of all things.
I love that guy. Well, I love all the Giants, but anyway, someone had mentioned earlier they beat me to the punch, but this kid Birdsong.
Hayden Birdsong, 23 years old.
My gosh. Wow. Nothing against Mr. Hicks, but why don't we switch them and see what Birdsong can do in the starting rotation?
This is what we started all the way in the beginning of spring training. People were talking about it. Jordan Hicks signed a 2-year contract here, and one of the primary things that he talked about is he wanted to be a starting pitcher. So last year, ups and downs. This year, he came in a little stronger. You got to give this guy some time to breathe. Same thing when you look at Verlander and Ray. they've only gotten 6 starts in there, so you got to give them some time. They're looking at 20 to 30 starts. He's pitched better today, and I loved what he did. He started throwing more sweepers, the slider, it's a sweeper. He pitched great. I really felt no walks today, and that's what I have talked about on this show. They had 2 walks in 27 innings in this 3-game series, and he was one of the guys that walked a lot. Robbie Ray was another one. Robbie Ray went 7 innings yesterday, 1 walk. Tonight, you'll hear it if you'll listen to the show. JP Martinez and I talk about this staff and some of the things that he pushed these Giant pitchers to do. It's working, no question, about being aggressive that first pitch. Jordan Hicks pitched well today.
Yeah, well, real quick, I'm not worried. I mean, Verlander and Robbie Ray, I mean, and of course, Mr. Webb, I'm not, I mean, I have no worries about those guys.
You always have Birdsong in your back pocket, right, Mike? Birdsong's that guy in your back pocket. Give him a couple of things. Randy Rodriguez, another one throwing good.
Yeah, and then now that Duvall is back in the mix here. But anyway, last thing I'll leave you with, Bill, and I could take your comments off the air, is that being how good this team is so far, small sample size. Once Chappie and our new boy Willie at short start really get going, and even I would throw Wade in there, watch out.
I agree. I think, Mike, you're right there. And the defense also, they've only committed 10 errors in 29 games. They're, I think, second in Major League Baseball. And I think that's another thing when you look at what Willie Adames and Matt Chapman has done on the left side of that infield. And now you're looking at Christian Koss, who's really a good defender, filling in for Tyler Fitzgerald as he got injured on that play on Friday when he dove into the net. But it's next man up mentality, and I love that part about this Giants team. Mike Yastrzemski being a big part in right field today. I loved what he did when Hayden Birdsong gave up that triple to Jock Peterson. He almost caught that ball dead right center field. And after the play, he was mad that he didn't catch it. He threw his glove in the air. I thought that was pretty funny. But some good baseball at Oracle Park, and tonight was a good one for the Giants. All right, let's go to Rosenbag in San Jose. Rosenbag, first-time caller. I haven't seen that name up.
Hey, how you doing? Good evening, sir. I've listened to you forever, but it's probably my first time calling into you.
I appreciate the call.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate listening to you. I wanted to call about Buster Posey and his brain trust, and basically everything that he's done to make this team high-character, athletes. The people that are there that take over everything and make their clubhouse and playing baseball the right way. I think that Willie Adames, even when he's been struggling and everything, going out into the field and congratulating everybody, Matt Chapman just being a steadfast leader, I think that when you get a collective unit of, people that are in the same mind track, that unit is going to go way farther than anything that has to do with analytics.
You're absolutely right. Rosenberg, you're absolutely right. And analytics is great for information, but you can't put a lineup out there and continue to watch them play with analytics. It's the heart. It's the mentality. It's the confidence. That's what Buster Posey changed. We want baseball the way it was in 10, 12, and 14. That's what Buster Posey brought as the leader of the president of baseball operations. He brought that in, brought Randy Wynn in, brought, when you start looking at all the different people, made Ron Wotus a little bit stronger in the organization, guys that know the game and experience the game and have been good Giants in their careers.
I 100% agree, and I would even relate that to my military experience. People that gel well within a squad or platoon. That is that you're going to work extremely well, and all of that stuff. Even if you're not doing well, let's say for baseball, you have your downs and your ups, but when you're together, all that stuff, it's going to play out. It's a natural bell curve of life.
You're so right. Isn't it the next man mentality? You believe in the next guy. If you can't do it, pick me up, be the next guy up to be the savior, and you're always in there rooting for each other, and that's what this team has done. You mentioned it, Willie Adames, one of the biggest cheerleaders. He hasn't even played a full year in the Giants organization. Matt Chapman, one of the greatest pickups last year by putting him in extended and making his contract longer. Two good foundational pieces that the Giants have now for a few years.
Yes, sir. I believe that, and I think that's going to carry us forward for a long time. Even with Bailey behind the plate, everyone knows he's such a good defensive player, and maybe he doesn't have the best average for a catcher, but who does? But he goes and he carries people as well. And I think all of these strong characters that are about the team rather than, like I was saying, analytics or me, it's about the team and what can I do to make sure
right,
the
Rosenbach?
next
It's not me, it's we, and I think that's the terminology this whole team's believing in as they win again today and are 19-10 in the first 29 games. First place in the NL West, Rosenbach, and I really appreciate your call today. Call in some more. I really appreciate a lot of the positives you brought to the show. Thank you so much. Let's go to Tyler in Santa Cruz. Tyler, did you watch the game? Were you at the game? Tell me where you were when that last play happened.
Oh, I was watching the game at my friend's house. Yeah.
You guys had to have been going crazy. You probably had your mouth wide open when the whole thing was happening.
Oh, my buddy was cooking, and I was watching the game going, oh, my God, look at this. Little league home run.
And you probably replayed it like I did a couple times because I could not believe the throws that the Rangers were doing.
Oh, yeah. But Rosenbach just pretty much took everything I was going to say, but it just kind of seems like, I don't want to bag on the previous regime, but it seems like these guys are all pulling on the same chain. It's not one – they're not looking to one guy to do it all. It's like it takes a team, right?
Well, I think what it is, where you hear a new voice and you hear baseball being the way it's supposed to play, being aggressive on bases. 20 stolen bases already for the Giants this year. You look at defense, 10 errors only in 29 games. Batting averages are down, but they're playing like a unit. You said it, he said it. It's we want to win. We want to pick each other up. And that's what we're seeing, not just on the defensive side. On the pitching side, this pitching staff has really been outstanding, especially this homestand going 5-2.
Right. And it seems to me far more sustainable than a different style of baseball to me.
Yeah, I agree. And, you look back in the years when Buster played, and you hear what his leadership is, you hear how he talks, and you talk about what Bob Melvin can do now, what he can do for his team, how he takes 17 games, Tyler, they played, and he was pulling guys out, giving them a day of rest, pulling a guy out, but they ended up being in the game as a pinch hitter or a defensive replacement. You didn't hear anybody griping of what happened to him in those 17 games, and they win 10 out of 17 with a 10-game road trip. Very impressive in the orange and black.
Right. I agree. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, Tyler, thanks for the call. Appreciate your time. Let's go to Jake in San Francisco for the final call here. Jake, you're on an extra inning post-game show. How are you today?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for taking my call. I'm great. No better way to end the week than with the Giants win, right?
Exciting game, too. I mean, you'd have never thought that was going to happen in a big league game. People throwing the ball around. Elliot Ramos stopping at second. Matt Williams screaming at him to continue to run, and sure enough, the throw goes over the third baseman's head. And here it goes going home, and the whole team was coming out of the dugout, and the head-first slide at home plate, it just made the whole exciting day finish with a win for the Giants.
Yeah, so I'll be quick, but for me, this whole series came down to the bullpen and almost Bob Melvin out Bochying Bochy. Like, It felt like every move that Boch made, Melvin had a counter. And I guess I'm curious. I'd be curious to hear your take. It felt like Boch, more than any team we played this year, has been swapping out relievers mid-inning. And I think even Kite made a gripe about it on the broadcast today. But it felt almost like a go-around of the of the 3 batter minimum rule. So I'd be curious to hear what you.
Yeah, they went through 5 relievers today, and he went lefty, righty, righty, lefty. He was changing intermediate. He was going to the lefty, and when he brought in Garcia, Yaz gets a base hit off him right off the bat. Chris Martin was just dynamic for him the whole weekend. Luke Jackson gets a save, and, of course, we saw Luke Jackson here for many years, and he ends up blowing a save. He's 0-3. He blew a save in Sacramento also. I just think we saw Bruce Bochy do what he did here. He always went with the matchups, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. Of course, you know, the 4 horsemen that he had in the bullpen that the Giants put on the Wall of Fame last year was just awesome. But he's always been like that, Jake, and I think we just saw Bruce Bochy go once too far with Luke Jackson, and he ends up getting a loss and walking out of Oracle Park losing 2 out of 3.
Yeah, well, I don't think that was particularly Jackson's fault. Maybe don't throw the ball next time.
I think that's the key. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do. Elliot Ramos has speed. The play was off to his right. He should have ate it because it's in the bottom of the 9th inning, and then, you know, proceed to see what he could do. He tried to make a Matt Chapman play, and it ended up biting him.
Yeah. Do you think that if he hadn't bobbled the play on the backup, he would have been able to make that throw?
I don't think so, because that ball was down the line. It was really down the line, you know, and he was backing up the play. But the throw by Berger, you know, it was over to the left of the third baseman, so it kind of slided down the line. I don't think he would even, but I was just wondering if Ramos had enough energy to get up and go, because he ended up sliding at third and getting up, and then he ran to home, and the headfirst slide was just the smile on his face, the jubilance he had of winning the game, and he was huffing and puffing the whole time.
Yeah, and relief to be done with running too, right?
It sure was. Well, Jake, thanks for the call. I appreciate your time today. All right, that's enough on the phone calls. We've got a couple great interviews coming up next. I sat down with the number 2 prospect of the San Francisco Giants. He's been pitching in Sacramento for the River Cats. That's Carson Wizenhunt. Carson's been throwing the ball extremely well. 4 starts. He's 2-2. In 20 innings that he's pitched, 17 hits. He's given up 6 earned runs. And here's the numbers that I think are going to impress Giants fans. 2 walks and 23 strikeouts. He's got that fabulous changeup. He's working on a slider, and he also throws the ball in the mid-90s. So sit back. Carson Wizenhunt's going to enjoy talking to Giants fans as I bring him in, and we talk a little bit about what he's been doing and what his forecast is in the coming season of 2025. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Coming up next, Carson Wizenhunt right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. Got a great guest on today. Right now, he's in El Paso, Texas, playing the El Paso Chihuahuas. Let's welcome in the lefty Carson Wizenhunt. Carson, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
How's El Paso treating you? A little warm down there in Texas?
A little warm, but nothing too bad.
Good. Well, let's go back to spring training. You got a couple appearances in spring training with the big league club. What was the difference this year walking into that clubhouse compared to last year?
Biggest difference was just having a little bit of feel and understanding from last year. Already knew most of the guys. I mean, have Webby, Robbie, those guys, like get around, talk with them, hang out. But biggest thing was just kind of going in there with the understanding of I'm going to have a chance to throw this year and be able to go out there and compete, which is what I wanted to do last year. But injuries and stuff pushed that back. But other than that, it was really just wanting to get out on the field and start playing again.
Well, a new pitching coach, JP Martinez, of course, you worked with him a little bit in spring training last year. He is now the official pitching coach. Garvin Alston also had a little bit of background with you because he was in Sacramento. Give me your little output on what these two guys tried to do with you and tried to introduce you to new ideas. What were some of the thoughts they gave you?
The biggest thing, we've been working on a new slider that I started with last year, just to get a feel, kind of working on some different stuff. But coming into spring training, we sat down and talked for probably 5-6 days on different grips, trying to just get any kind of intel I could before I started really ramping up and getting off the mound. And then after that, we started throwing bullpens, and it was really good pitch. Still just trying to get some feel for it, but we sat down a couple more times after that, and even just during catch play, trying to give me little tips and pointers on different cues for how to get out front with a little more, get a little more depth with it, whatever I needed. So it was actually really good conversations about that, but then just the fastball command was a little shaky last year, so worked on some different cues within the mechanics and then the arm path of just getting back in the zone.
Carson, you threw a curveball, I believe. We talked about that last year. The curveball is more a little scratch now more slider heavy. It gives you a little bit more velocity on the pitch. Of course, the spin going away from lefties, maybe a back foot slider to the righty. How hard is that for you to bring into arsenal during a game?
It's a little easier now because I've gotten a little more comfortable with it, but at first it was pretty tough just because I haven't thrown it. I had the curveball for a long time. I still have the curveball. I just don't use it as much. I mean, the changeup's my go-to off-speed pitch, but trying to find something that I can go into righties and away from lefties with to keep them off the changeup.
Yep. I think that's a great pitch, too, for you, especially high velocity, mid-90s, and, of course, the Bugs Buddy changeup. We've always talked about that, and that's your go-to pitch. When did you start throwing the changeup? Was it back in high school, or was it in college at East Carolina University?
I've always thrown the changeup. I didn't throw a curveball or a slider till I got into high school, but the grip that I'm using now, I started my freshman year of college. So, I mean, it's been 5-ish years since I've had the grip I have now, and I've just gotten more comfortable with it, and I can finagle with it a little bit and get a little more velo or a little less, a little more depth, whatever I need to do at times, depending on hitters and where they're standing in the box and their swing path.
Well, I read an article from Spencer Bivens. He says, I played catch with Carson Wizenhunt back in fall ball. His changeup was good, but right now it's disgusting. It's so filthy. What'd you think of that line from Spencer Bivens?
Pretty nice.
It's always great to hear a big leaguer talk about your pitch, and I know the changeup is everybody's favorite when they talk to you about it. Carson Wizenhunt on Extra Inning Postgame Show, and we talk about different scenarios when you throw your changeup. For you, it's got to be any pitch, any count, and then to any hitter. Is that true?
Correct. Throw it to lefties, righties, early in counts, late in counts, doesn't matter.
Fastball location, cross seam. Have you used the two seam at all, or is it all cross seam?
I used to throw a two seam. We're more four seam kind of grip right now, working on some different stuff. It's kind of tough in the PCL, depending on elevation, things like that. But getting a lot more comfortable is where we're at now with what we worked on in spring training.
Well, Carson Wizenhunt, a couple of things I read about you, and we talk about last year. You talked about your walks last year. And I read a statistic where you had a 2.34 earn run average and 14 home starts in Sacramento. And then on the road, you had an 8.3, and they were calling you hobble gobble because they were saying you had a jinx against you when you went on the road. Tell me how all that happened, because at home you were stellar in Sacramento, but on the road it kind of bit you a few times.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a good answer for it. I mean, it was just all year. It was back and forth. Like at home, I felt really good, and then we'd go on the road, and stuff felt good, but guys were just flaring balls over second and short, getting broken bat hits here and there, and it was frustrating. Obviously, you don't want to give up runs or hits like that, but it's part of the game. But
you had a jinx on you, right, Carson? I think somebody put a jinx on you when you went on the road. Maybe it was the uniform color you were wearing.
It might have been. So we're trying to stay away from that this year.
Well, so far this year, let's talk about this year. You've had 4 starts. You're 2-2 with a 2.7 earned run average. Your last start against Salt Lake, again, that was the Angels AAA team, really threw the ball well. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts in Sacramento, as we say. What was working for you that day?
Honestly, everything was. Felt really comfortable with all 4 pitches that I was throwing: fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider. Able to mix really good counts. Never really gave him a chance to just sit on one pitch. And then honestly just moving the ball around the zone. I knew most of their hitters. I'd played against them last year during the fall league previously, things like that. So had an understanding of what they were trying to do. And I mean, everybody's trying to sit on my changeup late in count. So I was using the fastball later in the count and then the new slider as well.
JP Martinez, I interviewed him, and of course his lines were very basic: throwing first pitch strikes, getting ahead of hitters, using your arsenal after you get ahead of on a hitter, faster pace because of the time clock. So a couple things pretty basic, but at the end they mean a lot because you've definitely focused on both of these things.
Correct. Yeah, we spent a lot of time, especially this off season, just kind of getting in the groove of that. And then coming into spring training, we harped on first pitch strikes and then just filling up the zone with all of your pitches, of just trying to be consistent is the biggest thing. Not trying to do too much in 0-2, 1-2 counts, just kind of attacking hitters early, trying to get them out as quick as you can.
Well, it's working for you, Carson. In 20 innings, 2 walks, 23 strikeouts. You can't argue about those numbers. Is it something that you're thinking about as each hitter comes up? What's your mindset of, I got to get in the zone today, I got to keep pounding the zone? What's your mindset in doing that?
Honestly, the biggest thing is not overcomplicating it or overthinking anything. It's trying not to throw or do too much at times. It's just being consistent in what I've been doing. So trusting myself and my pitches that I've been working on. And so like, I harp on my mechanics, especially during spring training. And it's just trying to stay as consistent as I can with those, because that's going to allow me to get down the mound and stay through
Well, you're 24 years old now, and the health issue last year, you had a little hiccup in health. Coming into this season, how did you feel health-wise, arm-wise? Is everything fine now? You're ready to keep going in this 2025 season?
Yeah, everything's feeling really good. Last year and the year before that, had 2 hiccups, missed the back part of 23 and then missed a month last year. So just trying to avoid injuries, which is a lot easier said than done. But I feel really good right now, trying to just stay consistent and on top of the weight room and my training room routine and everything like that.
Couple more minutes with Carson Wizenhunt on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Let's talk about the offseason. Did you do anything different? What did you do over the offseason? Did you go on any vacations? Any fun things?
This offseason I spent more time with my family, honestly. We have a lake house that we went up to a couple times, but didn't go on many far vacations or anything like that this offseason.
Well, when you hear lake house, are you a fisherman? Do you get out on a boat and fish?
Yeah, I like to fish. Didn't really get to because, I mean, it's usually pretty cold by the time we get back. But I go up there, hang out, just try to get away from everything and kind of clear my mind after the long year.
So I got to ask you, are you a chef in the kitchen or do you like going out to dinner all the time?
In the off season, I like to cook. It's kind of tough during season, travel and everything like that. But I most definitely, I'll get out there. I like to grill. But I mean, for us this year, it's kind of tough. We're only home for a week at a time, on the road a lot. So makes it tougher to get out there and cook your own food and do those kind of things.
Last one for you, Carson. Preparing for a game, putting that headset on. What's the new music you're listening to this year?
Oh, man. I don't really change a whole lot. I really only listen to country music.
Okay.
I've got a playlist that I add a couple songs here and there, but I haven't really added a ton of new songs to it. It's pretty consistent. I've had the same playlist for probably 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So try to keep it.
Well, you know what, Carson,
original.
I might get you thinking about that now. Now that I talk about music, you might be going, you know what, Bill, maybe I might have to go in there and add a few new songs.
Yeah, I might have to go look.
Well, Carson, thanks again for joining me on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. We'll be keeping in touch throughout the year. And good luck the rest of the season because you're doing a great job in the beginning of the season, and it's always great catching up with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
That was Carson Wizenhunt on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Sound right, boy. It sound right, boy.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
The stretch. Garcia runs the pitch. Swung on a missed. He struck him out on a slider that ended up in the dirt. 3 strikeouts in the inning.
All right, welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show on a Sunday evening. Giants win a thriller at Oracle 3-2 on a wild play by Elliot Ramos and a couple errors by the Texas Rangers. And Elliot Ramos, a head-first slide, and they win the game 3-2. They're now 19-10 for the season, flying to San Diego for a 2-game quick series in San Diego. The Padres right now have lost 8 of 11, and they just got swept by Tampa Bay. They lost 3 straight games, so the Giants might be catching them at the right time, and both teams have the day off tomorrow. And then they start a 2-game series. Logan Webb will be on the hill Tuesday, and then Nick Pivetta, a good right-hander for the Padres. He's 4-1. with a 1.2, Logan Webb 3-1 with a 1.98. And then an afternoon game on Wednesday, first pitch 1:10, and that's Michael King, a right-hander. He's 3-1 with a 2.1, going against Landon Roop, and he's also 2-1 with a 4.5 earned run average. Coming up next, JP Martinez as we continue to talk pitching. Carson Wizenhunt, great time with him and finding out a little bit more about him. And you know, the old music thing, I love throwing that out to these kids when they're finding out what they listen to. And I guess he likes country music. That's what I figured out once I started talking to him and what he loves to get excited about. But going back to some of the pitching that the Giants did over the weekend, and you start looking at Verlander, Ray, and Hicks. 3 guys that have been pitching pretty well, but they just haven't got wins. And, of course, today Jordan Hicks really threw the ball well. No walks on Jordan Hicks. And you look at what they did in this 3-game set against the Rangers. Altogether, 18 innings pitched, 17 hits. And they only given up 6 earned runs, 2 each. 2 walks and 16 strikeouts for 3 starters. Then you got to look at the bullpen. And again, I think the bullpen is one of the best, if not the best, in Major League Baseball. Covering 9 innings in 3 games, 8 hits, no walks, 14 strikeouts. No walks, 14 strikeouts. And I love what we're going to talk about here with JP Martinez, and what he has brought to this team from spring training, what he's changed in the outlook, and some of the things that he believes in all the days that he was with the Minnesota Twins, and also being mentored by Bailey and Price, the 2 pitching coach he worked under. So sit back, JP Martinez and I talk pitching. I love talking pitching, as you all know, and this is a great conversation with the pitching coach of the big leagues, JP Martinez. That's coming up next right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. I'm excited to bring my guest on in his 5th season with the San Francisco Giants and his first full season as the pitching coach. Let's welcome in JP Martinez. JP, how are you today?
Hey, Bill. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well, too.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Coming out of spring training, I spoke to a lot of your pitchers in different interviews, and they gave me a couple heads-up things that you kind of put in place for them. And they're, pretty basic things, but they're all thinking about the right way to go on a different approach this year under your leadership. The first one, of course, is strike one. That always helps when you're coming in any type of as a starter or a reliever, and faster pace in the game. I'd like to really jump into those two things and why you kind of, push that on these guys this year.
Yeah, I think the main thing is probably strike one. One of the things I talked a lot about early on in camp was baseball is the only sport where you have the ball on defense. And so to me, that means you have to take an offensive mentality to the way that we pitch. And so I use some examples with the guys, that kind of come from the NFL. A lot of the best offenses in the NFL end up being playoff teams, and those are actually the teams that get the most first downs. So for us, we want to move the chains. We want there to be a lot of first downs. We want to get into the red zone with our 2-strike counts as much as we can. And, for us, I think first pitch strikes are first downs and 2-strike counts are the red zone. So if we can do those two things, we can be aggressive in zone and try to get to those 0-2, 1-2 counts as much as possible. We're going to be a pretty good pitching staff.
JP, coming out of spring training, the lowest team in walks. You were fantastic in spring training. Start of this season, it's been a struggle. There's been some struggles in the first inning, middle innings. How can you eliminate that, and how can you get these pitchers to concentrate and throwing strikes more?
Yeah, I think it stems from a couple guys in our rotation that have had a little bit less than ideal command on the East Coast road trip. I know Robbie Ray had two tough starts in a row command-wise, one in New York and one in Philly. And so we're not really looking too much at the walk rate as a kind of performance indicator. It's more the process to get to that. So I think Robbie's, low on the first pitch strikes and low on the strikes overall right now. Hicksy falls into that camp as well. I think even Landon Roop is right around 60% in both those categories. Verlander's doing a great job getting ahead and throwing a ton of strikes. Hasn't really had the results he's wanted, but his process has been good. So I know that better days are ahead for him. And then Webby is trending, right? Had a good start in New York and had a good start yesterday. So I think we're heading in the right direction. I'm not going to, overweight these first few starts here too much, but we are definitely focused on our process and how we do a little bit better in terms of getting in good counts.
That voice you hear on the Extra Inning Postgame Show is JP Martinez, the pitching coach for the San Francisco Giants. Let's go back in time with you. You grew up in Louisiana. Now I have some friends that grew up there. I got to ask you, the Cajun tradition, are you a gumbo guy or a crawfish guy, or how about alligator? Have you tried that?
Yeah, I'm all of the above. I'm gumbo. I'm crawfish. I'm crawfish etouffee. I'm raw oysters. Love red beans and rice. If you've ever had that, that's probably my favorite New Orleans meal, red beans and rice. And my grandmother's from Central Louisiana, so she was a great cook. And she wasn't Cajun, but I definitely love Cajun food and know a lot of people in that part of the woods.
Boy, that's great food, boy, right there. You just explained it so well, and you probably grew up with all of that. And, when you start thinking about the food and everything in Louisiana, if you haven't tried gumbo or crawfish, you better go to New Orleans and try it. One of the best tasting food, and you just displayed it. I'm getting hungry already, JP.
Yeah, I miss it. When I go back, I definitely eat more than I should. Usually there around Thanksgiving or Christmas to see family, and it's always special because I like to hit up some of my favorite spots there.
Well, going into college, you went to LSU. You ended up going to University of New Orleans. Tell me a little bit about your background when you went through high school and college.
Yeah, I grew up in New Orleans, moved over to a school in uptown New Orleans when I was in second grade and went there all the way through high school. It was a small school, and we ended up winning the state championship my senior year, the two-way state championship for small schools. And we ended up beating the LSU recruiting coordinator's son's team in that game. So he happened to be at the game watching. I got a chance to go to LSU. I redshirted a year there and then didn't play my second year much at all. And then my third year, I transferred to University of New Orleans and played for former Minnesota Twin Randy Bush for a couple years there before I got drafted. So that was kind of my baseball background.
Yeah, in 2004, you just said it, you did get drafted by the Minnesota Twins, and at that time you jumped in, you signed professionally. Were you looking to get going in it? Were you a starter or a reliever? Tell me a little bit about your pitching background.
Yeah, so I started in college my sophomore and junior year, and then when I got into pro ball, I started to relieve. And, I think I started a little bit maybe in rookie ball, but really took to relieving, really enjoyed it, had, kind of a rubber arm, as they say, so I could throw a lot. And loved that, came up with the Minnesota Twins. I signed on my 22nd birthday, and at 25, I was in AAA, feeling pretty good about myself. And then about 18 months later, I was out of baseball. So, life comes at you fast sometimes in baseball. But I got released by the Orioles in 2009. Took a small detour to grad school, did a little bit of a master's degree, and then got back into coaching. Coached my younger brother in high school ball, and then got back on with the Minnesota Twins in 2015.
I was just going to jump into that. 2015, you joined the Twins, and you were a pitching coordinator, a rehab coordinator. You were a pitching coach even in low A ball. When you look at all these different things you did to build up where you are now, these are all learning tools. What did you learn when you were doing all these different things into the pitching, especially as a pitching coordinator? You had a lot of things you had to look at.
Yeah, that's right. I started as a rehab pitching coach, but I got to help out with the rookie ball team, the GCL team. And that was actually a really big learning experience for me because we had a bunch of our top prospects that had just had Tommy John or shoulder surgery. So I got to kind of see the road of, a rehabbing player and how they get back to full health and get back to the upper levels. And then, coached a couple years in A-ball. I really, really loved A-ball, especially because it was the first full year for a lot of those guys coming out of college or high school. And there's just so much to teach. There's so much that guys can develop during that full season in the Midwest League. So I enjoyed that. And then they turned over some management, I think, in 2018. We got a new GM. Derek Falvey came over from Cleveland. And then we had a new farm director, Jeremy Zoll, came over from Los Angeles, the Dodgers. And they gave me a chance to interview for pitching coordinator. I wasn't too excited about that, honestly. I kind of enjoyed being in the dugout, enjoyed being a pitching coach. And they basically convinced me that I could learn a lot in that role, and they were not wrong. I was a pitching coordinator for 3 years. I learned a ton. They gave me so much exposure to information and so much coaching that really helped me in my current role. So I'm very appreciative to Minnesota for the way they treated me in player development.
Well, the foundation of learning all the different things you did with Minnesota helps you when you come over here in 2021 with the Orange and Black, the San Francisco Giants. You became an assistant pitching coach. You've been doing that for 4 years. Of course, Andrew Bailey and Brian Price were the leaders of the pitching coaches. Under their tutelage, what did you learn from them that's now making you succeed as a pitching coach?
Yeah, learning from Bales, who had such a rich playing career. He was Rookie of the Year. In the American League, he, won a World Series with the Red Sox. It was great to get to know him, and he treated me great in my time here. Got to learn a lot from him, especially like in his transition from player to coach, which was eye-opening for me. Learned a lot from Brian Bannister, too, who was our director of pitching at the time and is now at the White Sox as an assistant general manager. Brian's a very, very sharp guy, thinks differently about pitching than some, and so it was cool for me to get both of those two perspectives at once. And then really valued my year with Brian Price last year. Brian, very accomplished pitching coach, very accomplished manager in the game, and just really drew a lot from his experience in our day-to-day interactions together. So between the three of them and my time with Minnesota, I felt like I had a really good pedigree on the pitching side, and then don't want to leave out guys like Craig Albernaz on the catching side and Gabe Kapler, who took really good care of me, brought me over from Minnesota. Between those 4 or 5 guys, I feel like a very good education as a coach.
Oh, learning tools from all of them, and you were probably a sponge listening to them because right now you're doing exceptional as a pitching coach. And the other pitching coach helping you is a good friend of mine, Garvin Alston. What a great combination you both have been doing. Was he with the Minnesota Twins when you were there?
He was the pitching coach in 2018 when I was my first year's coordinator. So got to know Garvin pretty well then. And then when I came over to San Francisco, obviously he was in Sacramento. So we hung out a lot in spring training and would talk throughout the year. So for me, the last couple of years have been great. Me and Garv are really close now. And I'm glad you think we're doing a good job, because I feel like we have a good thing going between the two of us and the way our guys been throwing.
Oh, no question about it. And let's jump into it a little bit. I want to jump into this bullpen because some of the arms you have down there have just been throwing exceptional. And when you start looking at some of the struggles that starters have, these guys have come in and put zeros on the board. I'm talking about long guys like Spencer Bivens, Randy Rodriguez, and a new guy, Lou Trevino, who's really got a second life. Tell me a little bit about these three guys coming out of the bullpen this year.
I mean, Randy has got electric stuff. We knew that coming up when he was an A-ball and AA. I think the piece for us that was kind of a question mark was, would he be able to command it? And, had kind of a rough go, honestly, last year in spring training, was walking a few guys, wasn't living in the strike zone as much as possible. And he kind of figured it out late in camp in early April, made the team or came up to the team pretty quickly there in April and was a big contributor for us as a long guy last year. I think he's got some upside to be, a late inning leverage reliever. He's a leverage guy for us right now, whether it's up one or down one in the 6th and 7th inning. I wouldn't be surprised to see him, pitching as a setup guy or a closer at some point down the road. So really impressed with Randy. Biv has a really interesting story, and I'm sure you guys have heard that. But to debut in the big leagues at 30 and then to kind of like secure a spot with us throughout the season last season, had that huge start against the Dodgers where he went 5, had some really important outs for us throughout the season last year, and then probably had the best camp out of all of our relievers this spring training. So we were really pumped to tell him that he made the team. He's one of those guys that is an incredibly hard worker and is always looking to improve. And, I honestly, our starters have thrown, well enough in enough innings that we haven't had enough chances to deploy him as a long guy, but I think he'll have some chances here moving forward. And then, Lou, man, getting to know Lou Trevino has been awesome. He's obviously a pretty accomplished late inning guy with Oakland, and then, got traded over to New York. But I got to talk to Lou maybe a couple of days before we started camp and kind of recruit him into the Giants organization. And he was excited about it, and then came in, had a great camp for us, and is now on the team. So that's been cool for me to kind of convince someone to get on board with us outside of, Bob and his relationship from Oakland. And then to see him do well and pitch some big outs for us.
JP Martinez on for a few more minutes on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. One of the big pluses you have, you get to speak Spanish and listen to Spanish and understand Spanish. And I think that is a big incentive for you. And when you talk about that, you have to talk about Camilo Duvall, a player that really was 2 years ago a National League All-Star. Last year, ups and downs. I know that was one big pitcher that you wanted to get going this year. And, I really believe he's got lights-out stuff. It's just getting out there and getting that first out. I've always said that on my shows. That first guy seems to tell you a little bit about him when he competes. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Camilo.
Yeah, my relationship with Camilo has grown a lot since 21. Obviously came up to us in July, August of 21, and pitched in the playoffs for us against the Dodgers that year. Kind of had some ups and downs in 2022, and then really started to put it all together maybe mid-April, late May, or mid-April, early May in 2023, and was able to dominate kind of May and June and make the All-Star team in 23. So that was excellent. Had some hiccups last year. Wasn't throwing it over as much as he had been previously. Probably had a couple things with his delivery that needed adjusting last season, and had the tough send down to AAA. But he came into camp in extremely good shape. He had a great camp. His delivery and his pitch shapes are back dialed in, and I think it's only a matter of time before he's kind of helping us take down those late inning outs. He's done so already in a couple spots when we've had Ryan Walker down. And I think Camilo is actually just starting to get going, so feeling really good about his progress and where he's at.
Staying with his bullpen as we finish up with JP Martinez, Tyler Rogers, Eric Miller, great setup. Both of them throwing well for you. Eric Miller being the only lefty down there, it kind of eliminates a lot of things that Bob Melvin and you can maneuver, but still he can get lefties out just as good as righties. Tyler Rogers, again, the guy that pitches every day from underneath. Just a great story that I've learned about Tyler. And then Ryan Walker taking the bull by the horns last year and being the closer. These three guys guys are so they can be in any place at any time, and I think that's the big thing that you love being a pitching coach, as well as Bob Melvin.
Yeah, I think we feel extremely good about Ty Rogers in the 8th inning. He might be the most underappreciated pitcher in the league, in my opinion, right? The guy takes down the meat of the order every single night with a 1 or 2 run lead in the 8th inning, and he's done that for the last 5 years. And he's done really, really well in that regard. So a lot of love for Tyler. He's our veteran presence in the pen. He's an extremely smart and accomplished pitcher, and I'm hoping we can squeeze him into the All-Star game this year, and he can get some appreciation for all that he's done.
It really would be.
Yeah. And then with Ryan and with Walk and with Miller, I mean, it's pretty rare, in my opinion, that guys get called up to the big leagues and they never get sent down, right? So Walk debuted with us in 23 and then pitched so well in that kind of fireman role for us that we really had no choice but to promote him into the closer role towards the end of last season. And, it just speaks to how good his stuff is and how tough he is mentally to be able to get called up. And, it's a later round pick, some guy that was not really a big heralded prospect, but to just stick around for the entire time that he's been with us and pitch so incredibly well over the last 24 months. I see similar qualities in Eric Miller. Obviously, the stuff is there. He came over in a trade from the Phillies, and we always knew that his ability to kind of limit contact and get swing and miss was there. But he was similar to Randy in the fact that we wanted to make sure he could live in the strike zone a little bit more, and I think he's shown us that he can do that at this point. So as the lone lefty in our pen and kind of a high-octane reliever, definitely pumped about Eric and the progress he's made and where he's at.
JP, it was a pleasure getting to know you, Giants fans, getting to know a little bit about your background, and it's just great talking pitching with you. I love talking pitching, as you know, on my shows, but to bring your bullpen up, and I believe it's the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. I brag about it all the time, and I'm just so glad we got to talk about it a little bit, and looking forward to having some more conversations with you as the season moves forward.
Yeah, well, thank you, Bill. Anytime. I enjoyed it, and I love talking baseball. I love talking pitching, too. So anytime you give me a call.
Thanks again, JP. That was JP Martinez on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey as we finish out a Sunday and a great weekend right here at Oracle Park with 2 walk-offs today. Just a wild finish with Elliot Ramos scoring just a simple base hit with a couple of errors by the Texas Rangers, but the Giants end up winning 3-2. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Giants, 2 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors for the Texas Rangers. The Giants now go 19-10 on the season. They finally get a day off on Monday tomorrow after 17 straight games where they go 10-7. But the Giants are now going to place the San Diego Padres in a quick 2-game series, and then they'll come back here next weekend against the Colorado Rockies. Logan Webb on the hill on Tuesday against Nick Pivetta. Michael King for the Padres on Wednesday against Landon Root. I want to thank my 2 guests today, JP Martinez and Carson Wizenhunt. Those will also be on the All KNBR podcast if you missed them. I want to thank my producer Kyle Haar today and Ryan for picking up all the phone calls. Some great excited Giant fans today. I love the energy with the phone calls today. We'll definitely do it next weekend on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Tomorrow's Monday, and I will be on Sports Phone KNBR from 7 p.m. till 9:30 up until when the basketball game is over, and we'll shift off to John Dickinson on Dubs OT and talking about the Warriors game. But please join me tomorrow as we continue to talk about this San Francisco Giants team. For Bill Laskey and the Extra Inning Postgame Show, have a great rest of the night. Be safe, be well. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
It's another great outing for the righty on your home of San Francisco Giants baseball. This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.